welcome back to the Grieving Sisters. I'm Jessica.
I'm Elizabeth.
And we have our special guest, Annette. We love Annette.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And we're just so excited to continue to have you. We love to have you here. You're part of the fam bam.
Oh.
You are part of the fam bam. Like, that's it.
I'm like one of our emotional. We did have a Zoom episode with Annette, and we're so grateful that she made the trip to come up here.
Yeah.
And so this is one of two episodes that we're doing in person, and we're so excited.
Yes.
Today's episode is what to say and what not to say when someone is grieving.
They're in a better place, and then I'll knock you in the face.
That's the word. I think that part of the plan, but
part
you're like,
what
what plan involves me feeling like this?
Yeah.
What plan involves me?
But yes, and then talk a little bit about where you're from.
I know, right? Because we jump right in. We jump right in. Zero games here.
So my name is Annette Mendez. I'm the training and curriculum manager over at Good Grief. We're a nonprofit organization that focuses on really helping children and families and the community as a whole talk about grief and talk about loss and grow from that, grow from loss and adversity. We do offer free and unlimited peer group supports to children from the ages of 3 all the way into young adulthood. We like to say a good grief kid is very special because I know sometimes we have some kids that are, in their 30s right now, but they're still part of our community. We do this in 2 centers in Morristown and in Princeton, New Jersey.
Yeah, I visited the one in Morristown and I loved it. All the rooms, and this is something that we talked about in the first episode.
We have tons of rooms.
Yeah, I like the rage room because
we have a volcano room.
Yes,
we call it, and
I love it.
Everything's padded, and if there's a child who's having a particularly rough day and is like, hey, I need to go in there and just
set some steam off.
To let out the aggression.
Let it out. Yeah. I joke around with my colleagues and I'm like, we need one of those for us.
You can always go in there and
every organization should have a rage room.
Yeah, I was going to say every place because
we have our moments. Everybody has their moments.
One of the rooms that you mentioned that I thought was really, really interesting was the room where everything sort of looks like a hospital.
Yes, our hospital room.
If kids are dealing with a sick parent or a sick family member and it feels scary and weird to them. Yeah. Right. You could always bring your child to Good Grief and let them get acclimated to some of the things. You can say they can touch everything.
They can touch everything that's in there. One good way to see if Good Grief is a fit for you is, just to call us and get a tour. Someone from our program department explains everything in great detail. Everyone I work with is absolutely amazing. We're all in this because we want to, right? So all of this is very purpose driven. I love my job. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, that has to be so sad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we have our sad moments, but there's a lot of joy in our centers.
You're doing good.
Yes.
You're doing good. That's how it's funny. When we started this, people are like, are you okay? Talking about this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember me and Jess had a really honest moment a couple episodes in, and I was like, this is the only place where I'm not masking my grief.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is the only place where it's like, this is what I'm feeling, and I can be honest about it.
And that's how our
kids
community
feel. Right.
That's how our kids, especially with building community, because like I was telling you guys earlier, they're not just the grief kid.
Right.
Everybody's there, and the lessons that we have and the curriculum that we have, it's all about them being able to process that grief with people, with peers that are like them.
Sure.
And our facilitators are doing just that, facilitating that experience.
Yeah. Grief can feel so lonely at times.
Yeah.
Especially with kids.
Yeah.
Kids, I have 2 teens, so for me, my kids are into sharing fly stuff and sports stuff and lashes and for girls, and boys are into the sports. Like, they're sharing all of these things that they feel makes them look cool. And like necessarily like grief doesn't really show up that way. It's not cool.
Yeah. Crying is not cool. Being sad is not cool.
I'm crying over my aunt, or I'm doing this and that. Like my son will sooner. Oh, now he wants to get a tattoo.
Oh.
Can I get a tattoo? Can I get a tattoo? Can I get a tattoo? I'm like, you're a little young. You're 15. Not yet. But then he mentioned that he wanted to do something for my sister. And like let them grieve the way they want to grieve.
Absolutely.
And I said, well, why don't we really think about it? Do you want to like a sun? Because I was thinking of getting a sunflower for her. Well, yeah, I kind of would want to do that. And, things like that. So it's kind of like, that would be a cool way for him to share his grief, because then he could talk about her. Like, oh, yeah, this is for my aunt. And, so, like, I kind of got that. And I was like, let's talk about it next birthday.
But they're teenagers. Remember, they're my jam. That's a little manipulating. Sorry, CJ. That's a little... I just blew up your spot, CJ. Sorry, kid.
Oh, no.
But there's so many kids in high school that have tattoos.
Sleeves.
Like full, especially the athletes, have neck tattoos.
Neck tattoos,
He's like, Mom, and I'm like, I don't know who let that happen.
No.
But I'm pretty sure a lot of these kids are going and doing it, because what are they going to do?
Right, what are their
parents going to do?
Erase it.
Yeah, right?
Take it off.
No, my mom, I would have been kicked out.
Yeah.
That's why I have none still. Like, I still hear it in the back of my head. Like, you come into this house with a tattoo.
I didn't realize you don't have any at all.
Nope.
Oh, my God.
Fun fact. No tattoos.
Fun fact.
Girls trip.
Yeah. Girls trip. So to get into our topic about what to say and what not to say, because as you can see, we could chat. We're
we can
professional yappers here, So what are some... let's start with some supportive things to say.
Sometimes as humans, right, we feel like we have to have the answers for everything.
Yep.
Right?
Or fix it.
And the biggest thing that I tell folks is that they are not broken. Anyone who is grieving is not... They're heartbroken, they're sad, but they're not broken, and there's nothing that needs to be fixed.
And nothing you can do to fix it.
There's absolutely nothing. They are who they are. They're grieving, they're hurting, and that's important.
Right.
So when I say to them, sometimes you could just sit there and go, man, I don't know what to say.
Right.
I have no idea what to say, but I'm here.
That's it.
I know I talked about my sister in the first podcast. She has breast cancer. And I remember that. I remember her talking to me and being... My sister, I have to show you guys a picture, because she is like the strongest woman I know. Like, she is... I think if I've seen her cry, it's because she was really mad or she was going to hurt somebody,
Right.
But to hear her in her voice... Not so much the crying, but the fear. That got me. I was like, oh. And I didn't know what to say. And I'm like, oh my God, hello. I'm like the grief expert in the family. I should have something. Like, even I fell into that trap. Like, I caught myself and I said, I don't know what to say, but I'm here for you.
Sure.
Like, if you just want to scream and be angry, then do that. I mean, we talk to each other from the moment I wake up. I always text her. I'm like, good morning, sunshine. What's going on? And she's just like... good day, not a good day. And, and I know that can be a little annoying for some folks. Sure. But with me and her, that's my check-in. That's letting you know I'm here for you.
Right.
I'm not telling you how to handle your grief right now. Yeah. But I'm here for you.
It's like consoling, just letting somebody know that you're present.
Yes.
One of the nicest things somebody said to me was, my heart is with you. And I was like, it felt so genuine, and it felt so like... It's a safe thing to say, like my heart, like I feel for you, but it's like, I just feel like my heart is with you, like, And also sometimes when people say like, hey, I don't check in as much as I intend to, but just know like I'm always thinking about you, or I'm always thinking about you.
Yeah, always checking in, and especially if someone's grieving, it doesn't matter if it's brand new, if it's been years, if it's been months, letting someone know that you're there for them. And not judging them if they don't write you back or call you back, We
said that in one
don't
of our
write
episodes.
I haven't spoken to you in like 2 years, and here you go. Well, hello, someone very important to me died. Like, I need to process that, right? I have folks that I don't talk to months on end, and they'll just shoot me a text out of nowhere, like, hey.
But that was one of my things. Like when Sean passed, when my brother had passed, it was like, you know what? Life is so short, and I'm like. If I'm in the middle of something and someone comes to my mind, I stop what I'm doing. I send a quick text, like, hey, thinking of you. Hope all is well. You don't have to respond. Love you. Have a great day. Like, that's it. And I literally stop in my... Unless I'm, like, driving or, like, something, I'm, like, in the middle of something. But that's it.
That's right there. You don't have to respond.
You don't have to respond. I'm just, like, I'm here. Like, and even loss or no loss, right? It's just that was something that I was like, I'm going to make it a point of like, hey, I'm just checking in. I don't need anything from you. I don't want anything. You don't need to do anything. Just, hey, you came to my thought. I just want to make sure all is well. Talk to you soon. And that's it. And I just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah. And being very authentic, right? Especially with kids, right? If you go to a child who's grieving and you're like, sorry. And you're like, have this sad face.
They're
Kid,
like,
they're like, please, you know, get out of my face. Like, I don't want to hear, like, you know, but if you're just like, you know, hi, and they're like, hey, you're doing good? I'm all right. Oh, you want to talk? No. All right. Well, when you do, I'm here.
Right.
Or, you know, sometimes you'll get students to be like, can I just sit here? Yeah. Sure.
I've had them. You know? I had them when they used to sit in my office.
Sit in my office. I just want to sit. And let's. Okay. You could just sit there, and sometimes you'd be so surprised that when you least expect it is when they're like,
it's always when you
like all this stuff came out.
Always when we least expect it.
Always.
So now let's get into the things that you shouldn't say.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's more things that we could. I just want to get to the things that...
We could have a 3-part series on
literally.
It's funny because I always, you know, whenever we do trainings, we always ask them, like, what was that, even in our nights of support, like, what was that one really dumb thing that someone said to you?
Yeah. I'm ready. How many did you hear?
That's how they
How many did you hear?
You know, they're like, well, you know,
Tell
you
me.
hear like, oh, it'll get better with time. You know, they're in a better place. God only takes their strongest.
Oh, yes.
You know, that always bothers me the most because it's like, how dare you, number one.
Right.
And that is so not helpful. Like, for you, maybe, for your religious belief or spiritual belief or whatever it was, but I just lost a piece of my heart. And you're telling me that that's what he wanted? Like,
and it also makes it seem like there's something that you don't understand about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, when someone was to say, like, yeah, it's part of a bigger plan, it's like,
and what was the plan?
And it's also like...
And why did they include you and not me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it makes it seem like you've got it figured... The person who's talking has it figured out, and you just, like, don't get it. And you're like, yeah, I'll never get it.
You'll never get it. No.
And I think... you know what it is that they don't know what to say. So it's like...
Right.
It's like that, like, almost like verbal diarrhea. It's just like, bleh.
I have to say something. Like we said before, being quiet is so
powerful,
uncomfortable for people.
Listen, fun fact, this is what they teach you. They call it the pregnant pause, because so people become so uncomfortable in silence. They actually teach you that when you're in the middle of becoming like a therapist or a coach, or when you're doing that, they tell you, let the client speak first. Just stay quiet as much as you want to.
Well, we have an acronym at Good Grief, and we call it's WAIT, and it's why am I talking?
Oh,
why am I talking right now? Like,
I like that.
Thank you,
yes, wait. Why am I talking? And that's registered trademark.
We got so much trouble in school.
Me and Jess, you know, we've been friends since we were 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we went to grammar school together. And me and Jess, like, they would put, like, my chair in the front.
I was outside.
In the hallway.
My mom was like, listen, don't call me if she's talking to the janitor.
I was
that's it.
Elizabeth's a social butterfly.
Yes.
And we think that, because the thing is, the nurse will pass by and I'll be like, hey, Miss Higgins.
Yes.
She'll talk to the janitor.
I was the same way.
Everybody.
I was the same way. I finally told me, she's like, listen, it doesn't matter where you put me.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to talk to everyone.
Yes.
Like,
I'll talk to the teacher. Like, do you like coffee or tea?
Yeah.
Well, that's how we got into finding out that our teacher is in love with the Knicks player. Oh, there you go. Our 5th grade.
Yeah, because we were good at figuring out what people liked, and then we would talk to them about it. You know?
This is why we're successful.
So.
This is why we have a podcast now.
I love that.
So wait, I like this. Wait. Why am I talking?
Yeah.
I'm going to teach
Shout out to Evelyn Moon. She's the one who gave that to me.
I love that.
Thanks,
Evelyn.
Yeah.
Hey, girl. Good job. I love this.
Yeah, like, why do I want to talk right now? And we always tell our facilitators, too, like, you know, you ever have someone who's like, oh, you know, my cousin died. Is this the cousin on your aunt's side? Or on your, you know, and what happened? And who was there? And it's like, why do you want to know that?
Like, why do you need? Yeah, it's inappropriate.
So what we say is to stay compassionately curious, right?
Ooh, okay.
You know, if they're offering their information, tell me more about that.
Okay.
And how did that make you feel?
That's therapeutic.
That's great.
Therapy,
versus you don't need to know if it was my father's side or what difference does it make? That's just you being nosy.
Yes.
And sometimes that's what we do because we don't know. So we don't have the full picture, and our brain is just hot wired to finish pictures, and so we're gonna put our own thing in there.
Yeah, it's like, are you talking just to fill the space so that it doesn't feel silent and awkward, or are you talking because you're adding something beneficial?
Yeah.
So maybe just to even piggyback off of that, which goes into one of the other episodes, we're definitely going to do a part 2 for social media. Did you guys ever experience like a family saying, like, people saying stuff on social media, like, Primarily, it's usually Facebook, like, because I feel like that's
They're in
where
a better
a lot
place
of
now and all
yeah,
those things.
yeah. What was like the weirdest thing that you've ever heard?
I think there
Or the
was
craziest,
one that,
like,
and
wild.
this was not, this was not job related at all. This was in my own family where,
oh boy,
one of my family members was like, well, it was just their time. Like, we're only here for a certain amount of time, and it was there. Everybody has an expiration date, and you're like,
okay, not trying
everybody
to get
has an expiration date?
Yeah.
What am I, yogurt?
eggs?
What am I, yogurt?
Like, yes. What is that? Like, I don't understand.
She goes, what am I, eggs? I'm like, what am I, yogurt?
I can't.
That,
so
I think
true.
that had to be like the worst. And I think it was harder because it was a family member.
That's it. It comes from somebody so close. That was the same as, it's an old best friend, a friend of over 20 years that knew my family. And I was 9 months. She said it to me. I was about 7 months into grieving my brother. And she was like, well, death is the inevitable. Like,
thanks.
And in a text message. And I was just like, yeah, I don't want to hear that right now.
I think that's even worse than the text message.
Yeah,
like, ouch.
yeah. It was like a nice stab, and it's like then that like made me spiral.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like what do you want me to do? Like I'm grieving. Like if you don't know how to handle it, then
don't talk to me.
Then don't talk to me. Oh, and that happened too much later. Yeah.
That's okay.
We're on different journeys. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. And I always like to tell people, that's how you would handle it.
Sure.
And I think that's why organizations like Good Grief are so important.
Sure.
Podcasts like this are so important. David Kessler's so important because yes, death is inevitable. We all know this, right? No,
right.
The death rate's 100%. One thing we can bet on.
Right.
But we don't talk about it.
Right.
No one talks about it. So then death, like we say, is like this gigantic elephant in the room that everybody's just kind of like, I have to
But
ignore.
it's Western. I feel like it's us. I feel like it's us.
Yes.
It's in America.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people, they assimilate to when they come here and they kind of forget about their culture as well. And I just feel like it's us here that we demonized it.
100%.
Like we absolutely demonized
I
it.
love the Mexican culture of Day of the Dead.
Oh, I love that.
I think
like the
that's
celebration of
when
it.
that like Disney movie came out.
Oh, Coco.
I was like,
love
this
Coco.
is brilliant
Yes.
to show kids,
Yeah.
and it's like it's this time that you take to celebrate the people who aren't here and connect with them. And I love that. I mean, I'm not Mexican, and even we'll do like a little thing. Like, I just find it so.
Oh yeah,
it's so.
I think it was such a spiritual movie, and it's funny and sad because I went to see it and I had no idea it was about like a grandma. I thought it was just like another Disney movie, and I had just my grandmother had just died. Like I want to say maybe not even a week before that.
Oh my goodness.
And I had no idea, so I take my kids, my girls, they're in their pajamas because it was a late movie. We're all watching it, and I was bawling. Like, bawling, and they're asleep. They fell asleep midway through the movie.
Of course they did.
And this man who's there with his kids is like, "Ma'am, are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm okay." Like, and I'm texting my son went to go see another movie, and I'm like, I'm losing it. Like, this is bad,
Wow.
But it was such a beautiful movie, and to your point, yes, we have gotten so far away from how we used to deal with death, right?
Right.
Even we were talking about Evelyn earlier. There was another recording she was doing, and she was talking about it, and she's like, even if you ask kids, like, where does a hamburger come from? They're going to say the store.
Yeah.
Right? The supermarket. Like, they don't even realize there's like a whole...
Right.
And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, that's so true. And like, I even went home and asked my girls, like, where do you think this comes from? And she's like, ShopRite? And I'm like, ooh, we need to talk. Because that is not where it came from, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, we've gotten so far from that. Like in my culture, we had wakes, velorios in the living room.
Right.
And this person is there and the whole town would come and everybody would pray for those.
That's what they do in Ghana. They do it in Ghana,
We don't do any of that here. Like, sometimes even in the hospital, they take the body from the hospital to the morgue. You don't even get a chance to, like, everything is so... once removed. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so difficult for us
because of all the disconnect.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all very disconnected, and it's right that you say that. Like it's just like one after the next after the next, and it's like, okay, well, hurry up, we got to get them buried, this, that, and the other. While back at home, they can keep the body on ice for like 6 months to a year, so all the family can come. So it's like we're just so disconnected.
Yes.
I feel like, but I think another thing, what advice can you give people that are listening that when they don't know what to say or prevent them from saying the wrong thing.
Like,
don't
what's
say
a safe
anything.
spot?
Yeah.
Stay quiet.
Just stay quiet.
I'm here for you.
And that's it.
Even if you say, I know how you feel. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I empathize with you. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Like, there's just, you do not, you know, and letting them know that, like, man, this is hard, and I don't know. And even that is hard for us, right? To admit that we don't have all the answers, you know? I don't know if you guys ever listen to Brene Brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I joke around with my organization because I love Fred Rogers, and I'm like, if Fred Rogers and Brene Brown had a little nonprofit baby, it would be Good Grief, right?
Yes.
But Brene Brown has a wonderful way, like she has where she spins her ring. And she's like, you know, before I say anything, I spin my ring 3 times, and then I say what I'm going to say, right? So just pause for a moment.
Gives you like a pause. Yeah.
Think about what you're going to say to this person.
But I also feel like, because we're in the tri-state area, and I've brought this up before, that like I feel that we are on a hamster wheel.
Yes.
And we're just go, 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 go. And you can't be like that. You can't be, it's just too much. So I feel like when people are trying to say something, they're trying to be helpful, and they're really
But they gotta go.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like,
yeah.
You know what I think is kind of nice now that we're talking about it, and I'm thinking, I think when people remind you to care for yourself, like I think that when some of the people in my life didn't know what to say, but they said, "Did you manage to get anything to eat today?"
yes.
Yeah.
Or, you know, things like that, like things that show that they care about your health. You know what I mean?
sure.
Like, hey, do you want me to come over? Like, I've had a friend come and do dishes. I've had a friend come and bring food. So it's like, if you don't really know how to comfort someone.
Yeah, those are ways to support.
Things like
and
that.
practical things. Like I've told folks, you know,
Yeah.
I'm going to come over and wash your dishes for you. Or
Right.
I'm going to come and just sit with you.
Right.
And we're going to binge watch like the worst show ever, and we're not going to talk. You know, just being there.
Me and my mom remind each other to wash our hair.
Yeah.
Because when me and my mom are in like really deep grief, it's the self-care for me is one of the first things that go.
Yeah, right, of course.
It's like,
well, we're moms,
right?
We're moms,
right?
So,
but
we're
they're
always on the back burner.
It's like, if I have 10% energy left, am I going to spend it on maybe preparing some food for my kids, or washing, conditioning, detangling my hair?
You're gonna go to your kid,
It's like, maybe. So my mom will be like, I think I'm gonna wash my hair today. I'm like, that's a good idea. I think I'm gonna do that.
What's today? When's the last time?
Exactly. Well, people do like a hair wash check-in. Like, when was the last time?
Just checking in, I think, helps too. I think, you know, my colleague Gina always says there has to be someone home to receive a guest, right? So if you're not there, what's gonna happen? Right. And we all, like you said, we're moms, and we have to worry about our kids, but we cannot be there for our kids if we're not being there for ourselves.
Pour from an empty vessel.
And I'm very guilty of that, where, you know, I'll have $30 and I'm like, oh, I really like those shoes, but man, my kids really want it, you know. And I try it. I'd rather just leave the store and not get anything for anybody, because I'm like, nope, forget it. I'm just not gonna do that. But, you know, reminding ourselves, and also with our own children, like I always tell my kids, like, you come first. You gotta love you first. Right. You know, I can tell you I love you till the cows come home, but if you don't believe that within yourself, my words are nothing. You know, so. Always take care of yourself.
Yes,
always.
yes.
And I think also, you know, as a Latina, that's not what we're supposed to do, you know? We're supposed to be, you know, makeup on point, clothes on point, hair on point, all our little kids on point,
after you just give birth, they want that too.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and it's like, what? Like, I remember when I had my child, and I had so many people in my room, and I was still kind of like,
disoriented.
What is happening? Like, who are you people, you know? But it's hard. It's really hard to care for ourselves.
Well, it's so even bringing that up, like, you know, like things are, you know, being there for people who are like, it's emotionally taxing sometimes. Yes. You know, so some people take on the vicarious grief. So what can you say to people so now these are people who want to be there for the griever, for the person who's grieving. What can you say to those people, like, if it's too much? Like, what if someone is grieving like, if I'm grieving too much on you and you're like, all right, I'm spent, I can't do this anymore. What's something that you could possibly say to them?
I think you have to be really honest with yourself. I think there's no such thing as grieving too much, because what's too much for you might be too little for me. Right. It might be just right for you, right? So that's the first thing. Like, don't put a timeline on that person's grief. Right. You might be sick of it, right? But you're not the one that's going through it. So
right.
what I like to tell folks is, like, if you feel like it's too much for you, you have to be honest.
Right.
You're not going to tell a person, stop grieving right now because this is too much for me.
Or tell them, or tell them that, death is the
inevitable.
inevitable.
Or tell them death is inevitable. But, like, find something else. For, like, you know what? I know that they're hurting and I know that they're upset, especially within families. I'm going to call so-and-so and have them check. Like, my son, who's 19, I always say to him, hey, can you check on your Titi Lulu for me today because I'm having a day.
Right.
And he will.
Right.
So having someone else to connect with you that
sure.
you have to have
asking
someone.
for help. That's
you have to have someone to be able to, I don't want to say like trauma dump because that's not a word that I like, but you have to have somebody that you have the ability to talk to and be a soundboard for.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that might even be yourself. I have the best conversations with myself in the car.
Yeah.
I'm like,
as long as you don't answer yourself, they say.
I answer myself because I need expert advice. So sometimes I'm in the car and I'm like, wow, today was really hard.
Yeah.
I got through it, but today was hard. Tomorrow will be better. You know what I mean? But this is years of doing this. Like, I think when you're first coming into this work, I'm sure the two of you, when you first started doing this, you didn't expect so many people to also grieve through you and with you.
We're getting crazy, like unbelievable feedback.
Yeah, so you have to make sure that you're also taking care of yourselves and you're not taking on additional grief from other people.
Oh yeah, I'm like, here, listen to this episode. And then come back to
and it's hard. We were talking about this the other day because everyone thinks that, because we work for this grief organization, that we're the grief experts, right?
Yes.
But we go through a lot, too.
But you are.
We are.
Well, we are. Thank you.
But, there's that's a lot on your shoulders,
sure.
So anything that happens with friends or family, hey, do you have, my son his best friend just killed himself. Like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, what do you mean, what are we going to do? Like, hold a minute. Like,
right. How did I just get included in this?
And it's okay. It's okay to say, I don't really know. That's not my expertise. Right. But hey, I found these books for you.
Right.
And
the psychoeducation.
Giving yourself like that arm's length because
right.
it is very taxing. And when you're an empathic person and you're a sympathetic person, you take all that on.
All of it.
And even if you don't want to, and even if you are like, okay, I'm not taking it on, but now your stomach hurts, now your head hurts, now you're you're sitting like this because you're so tense, and you're like, why am I so tense? And it's like you're taking this on for somebody else. So I know self-care sounds really played, I guess, because everybody. But when I say self-care, I don't mean like that social media filter
Put
self-care.
an eye mask on.
Go into a spa. Some of us don't have that, but lighting an incense and just kind of sitting there. Perfect.
Getting rest.
Getting sleep. Ordering that drink that you like so much. I'm going to have, limonada de coco or something.
Chinese food with MSG.
There you go. Anything that makes you feel better, go for it. Like you said, life is short.
That's it.
Go for
YOLO.
it and do something that makes you feel good about yourself. And don't feel guilty, because we're all in this together and we don't really, no one gives you.
We're all walking each other home.
Right. Exactly. We're all walking each other home.
Thank you,
That's beautiful.
Ram Dass. That was Ram Dass. Baba Ram Dass.
I love that.
Oh, Ram Dass is amazing. He's a good soul. I'll send you his page.
Oh,
gosh.
I'm sorry.
Go
I've
ahead.
also noticed that I told you guys I'm a huge Mr. Rogers fan. Like, I love him. He's gotten me through many, many, many rough times. And he's always with this, like, low and slow down. And I'm like, well, that's what we need. We need to just slow down and let's, get in touch with who we really are. Breathing. I'm not a yoga fan. I'm not, I joke around. I say, if you see me running, you should run too because something's chasing me. But if that's your thing, hey, go to the gym, go run, anything that will bring some joy to you. Like I was telling you earlier, hang out with some toddlers. They're amazing.
They will also keep you very present.
They will,
I say it all the time.
They keep you very present, and you're reminded of the beauty of life, right? Yeah. Don't always surround yourself with like doom and gloom. And look at the beauty, and that's what Mr. Roger always says. Look for the helpers. Look for the people that are making you feel better.
Oh, I love that.
I love him. He's amazing.
And we love you. And thank you so much for coming.
I want to come back.
And yes, you tu familia.
I love this.
So wait, where can anybody find? I know because I said it in the last episode. I plugged you, but go ahead.
Yes.
You plug yourself, and then we'll plug us, and then we'll wrap it up.
So you can go to Good Grief website, which is www.good-grief.org. We have tons of free resources on there. If you would like a tour, if you would like to come, there's contact information on there. And for myself, I'm on Instagram at the Grief Comadre. I'm always on the Grieving Sisters page, of course. I'm constantly resharing their stuff and telling people to go follow them.
Her stuff.
Yes. So yeah, I can, be found anywhere.
Oh, I love that. And thank you guys for listening. And thank you for joining us. And you can find us YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Oh, that was beautiful.
TikTok. Yes, I know. And we say it every time. Like, share it with someone that may need it, because we're not in this alone.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining.
Together.
That's it. Thanks for joining us.